I hoped you might pass this way. The Stirk Fellowship has been puzzling over the mysterious message from Vanus Galerian. Gabriel Benelay believes you can help. The Archmage is a prisoner of the Worm Cult, but somehow he used his staff to send a projection to Gabriel Benelay. She believes he may have vital information for us. Gabrielle hopes to re-establish contact with the Archmage, but she fears it may not be easy to do so. She could use your assistance, champion. She's waiting at Vinutilmo Palace. Can you help?
Comrade, were you successful? Did you find the passages beneath? We've been discussing the surprise appearance of Vanus Galerian. We may not have learned as much as we hoped about his situation, but Gabrielle has an idea for correcting that.
I've been wondering why Vanus Galerian's staff is pulling me here and there around Solstice. Now that Vanus managed to send a message, I finally know why. I think he's on the other side of the Writhing Wall. That's what we thought. But Vanus mentioned a thin spot in the wall at Lizal Pass. If the wall impedes his ability to communicate with us, that must be because he's on the other side of it. Take the staff to Lizal Pass and re-establish contact with Vanus. He may need our help, or we may need his. I think he wanted to warn us about something Wormblood is planning. We need to find out what that is and stop it. Will you go with me? Regent Corinway said Lizal Pass is located in the mountains north of Sunport. Meet me there. The sooner we can speak to Vanus again, the better. We'll leave Prince Azah and the others to figure out which shrine Wormblood is interested in. Vanus Galerian is an archmage, and the longtime foe of Manamarco and the Worm Cult. In fact, Vanus founded the Mages Guild specifically to combat the rising influence of dark necromancers in Tamriel. Oh, it was centuries ago, long before my time. But what's a few centuries to a high elf archmage? Back in those days, Vanus and Manamarco were friends of a sort, then rivals. They studied together in the Psijic Order until their falling out. As I understand it, Vanus caught Manamarco practicing forbidden magic. The Psijics allowed Manamarco to leave without taking any steps to stop him. So, Vanus left as well. He founded the Mages Guild to do what the Psijics would not.
It seems clear we need to talk to Vanus Galerian. Accompany Gabrielle and keep her safe at Lizal Pass. The rest of us will devote our efforts to locating the shrine Wormblood seeks.
Not so close, Patches. Wouldn't want you to come down with this scourge, too.
Not much of a pass, is it? If I'm not mistaken, this cave leads to a path through the mountains. More of a goat track, really. Be ready for some climbing. We'll probably have to do this the hard way. Grapple bows. Never used one? They're fun. Since the Writhing Wall interferes with portal magic and we're going to get very close, I won't be able to use spells. So I brought the bows to help us climb. I hope we won't have to use them, but here you go. I hope Vanus will take care of that for us. If we reach a spot where the writhing wall is thin enough, he'll find us. All we have to do is keep going up, and deal with any worm cult patrols in our path. Clearly the worm cult is here, and having some trouble with the local wildlife.
I never used to fight this much, until I met you.
Cliffs ahead. See that post above the red flowers? It would be a good place to use a grapple bow.
The buoyant armigers.
This looks like a promising spot. Be ready.
Finally! We must speak swiftly. I have little time. Gabrielle, help maintain our connection.
Speak with Vanus, friend. I'll maintain the connection as long as I can.
Good. I hoped you or Gabrielle had my stuff, but I couldn't tell if you got my previous messages. I haven't quite escaped yet, but we must be swift. The permanence of the wall fluctuates and I can be cut off at any moment. Where are you now? I'm in Solstice as well, on the other side of the writhing wall from you. The worm cult brought me here from Cold Harbor, and they brought Cold Harbor here as well. Wormblood is attempting a new plane meld, in reverse. Like Molag Ball's dark anchors, but in reverse. Instead of dragging our world into Cold Harbor, he's bringing Cold Harbor into Nuremberg. The eastern side of Solstice is already changing. You can't, not while the wall still stands. I have some help in here, but my ally convinced me it's impossible for now. The writhing wall is an insuperable barrier, thin spots such as Lizal notwithstanding. I need you to...
Father, I see what Vanus meant by permanence. The thickness of the wall fluctuates. We need to find another weak point. This is proving to be as difficult as I feared. Let's continue up the path. I sense another thin point in the writhing wall farther ahead. More cliffs. Look for grappling points to traverse these ruins. Vanus is right about Cold Harbor. I can see elements of that foul place all around us. Here. The wall is thin here.
I'm here. Quickly, there is more I must tell you. Curse the luck. I sense that the writhing wall fluctuates at random, but I assumed we'd have more time. Thin points appear and disappear without warning. How far has the Wormcult's reverse plane meld progressed on your side of the wall? Daedra. That's worrisome, but not unexpected. If you aren't surrounded by lakes of azure plasm or looking up at floating islets of rock, then things haven't gone too far yet. We still have a little time to stop the Wormcult. I'm not sure yet, but an army of necromancers and Daedra is massing in eastern Solstice. Clever of Wormblood, really. If he gathered his forces anywhere in Tamriel, we would have noticed. But a cursed island in the writhing wall blinded us. Unlikely. Wormblood controls a terrible source of power on my side. Something that consumes souls. The Wormcult soul reapers feed this thing. In turn, it empowers the writhing wall. Great effort. But to what?
Cut off again! We must find another place where we can speak with Vanus. Look! Up the steps! Another weak point!
Hurry, friend. My captors have finally figured out I'm up to something in here. Listen closely. Wormblood seeks a relic called the Gift of Death. My source tells me it's hidden in a place called Voska's Shrine. He must not acquire it. It's part of a Tibahatse court, sacred to Sithis. My ally here tells me it's in the hills southwest of Sunport. The Solstice Argonians used to play a ritual game there. A bloody one. As for why Wormblood wants the Gift of Death, I'm not sure. The Wormcult brought Manamarco here. Now that explains much. Wormblood must believe this Gift of Death can resurrect his old master. It's up to you then. Stop Wormblood from obtaining the relic. If he... Damn it. Here come my captors.
I lost Vanus. We were lucky to learn as much as we did, but we know what we must do. Let's talk, friend. I hope Vanus is all right. I don't like the way that last conversation ended. For that matter, I don't like what he told us. The Wormcult gathering strength behind the writhing wall and a new plane meld? That's terrible. I don't think so. Vanus mentioned a source of power. Still, we had to invade Cold Harbor to stop the plane meld before. Good people lost. Dead. I've missed Dardarian ever since. Now Wormblood is bringing it back? And Manamarco, too? You're right, of course. We don't know if Wormblood is close to his goal. So you'd better head to the Tibahatse Shrine. Find the Gift of Death before he gets there. Or at least delay him. I'll return to Sunport and warn the Fellowship. Good luck at Vaska Shrine. I'll make sure Princess Az sends help just in case you run into Wormblood too. It hardly seems fair. So many gave so much to stop the worm cult last time. Like Darien. Now they're back. So what did Darien die for? Memory's a bittersweet thing. When I think of Darien's smile, his laugh, I can't help but remember what it felt like to be with him, how I felt about him. And that makes me miss him even more. I suppose I can admit it. Darien was more than a friend. It started as a game. I pretended I was scandalized by his endless flirting. He pretended he wasn't serious. I wish I had said something about how I really felt. But I think he knew.
Five Claw, over here! Raz poked around several old Argonian ruins before returning to Sunport empty-handed. He never thought to visit an ancient ball court until Gabrielle showed up and sent him here. With great urgency, one might add. Imagine his surprise. If you consider High Necromancer Wormblood to be unusual, then yes. He arrived just before you, and he brought friends. They entered the old ball court just ahead. Raz wondered if they came to play a game, but no one invited him to join in. But it would be so rude to show up without an invitation, Five Claw. Think of all the worm cultists we would have to apologize to, with our blades. What exactly is Wormblood looking for again? If Wormblood is here, Vanus must have a knowledgeable source indeed. This one heard Wormblood tell his minions to seek the ball court's ritual altar to the north. Time for Five Claw and the Queen's Eye to save the day, yes? Look at the seating tiers, the carvings. Raz had no idea Tibahatse was so important.
Whew, that was a bit of a warm-up.
Curses! I blunted my sword on the last fool's iron cap!
Aha! Look, Five Claw. Wormblood is here. This is our chance.
More Fellowship fools. Me, faithful of the Black Worm. Destroy these interlopers. Fight! Kill them already! Even failures can serve me in death. I have a better use for these wretched souls. Enough!
This one senses danger. Quick, Five Claw, hide behind the pillar.
You are a more worthy opponent than I expected. I tire of this dog. I reclaim my power from these flimsy vessels. I will consume your soul.
Take cover, Five Claw. Another death burst.
My
You begin
hold
to
and
bore
my
us, Worm
followers.
Kisser.
Quiet, you mangy cat. Fools! Death cannot stop me.
At last! Take the relic, Five Claw, and let us be on our way. Raz does not like the feel of this place. Dark moods. It is coming back to life. It is foolish to fight a foe who cannot die. Destroy the columns. Bring down the shrine. Raz will pin Wormblood to the floor. Go, Five Claw! Get the gift of death back to Sunport. Raz will be fine.
Gabrielle recounted what you learned from Vonus Galerian. Dire tidings indeed. Was he right about the sacred Tiba Hatse court? Was Wormblood there? Did you find the gift of death? Excellent news, I think. We still don't know exactly why the Worm Cult needs the gift of death to restore Mannimarco, if that is indeed their intention, but at least the Worm Cult doesn't have it. What happened with Wormblood? Immediate resurrection? What kind of power is he able to call upon? Only legendary necromancers or a few fated heroes can do that. If Wormblood can't die, how did you and Razumdar defeat him? You did well to keep the gift of death from Wormblood. Better yet, you found a way to speak with Vonus Galerian. Knowledge is a mighty weapon in this war of secrets. Now we know what awaits us behind the Writhing Wall. I thank you, comrade.
Raz is
If
here.
I'd been in Crosswitch,
It takes more
I'd
than a
put my
falling
money
building
back
to
right
send
into
this one to
Stern's
the
Gell's
sands behind
back.
the stars. Defeating Wormblood may be difficult if he won't stay dead. Speak with Prince Azar, Fiveclaw. Perhaps he has a clever plan. Actually, Raz would accept a plan of any kind at this point.